Your Majesties, Your Royal Highness, Your Excellencies, distinguished members of the Norwegian Nobel Committee, global leaders, women of Liberia, women of Africa, women of the world. This is the day the Lord has made. I and my sisters globally will rejoice and be glad in it. Today marks a very historic day as the Nobel Peace Prize is being awarded to me, my sister Tawaku, and my own president and mother, Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, in honor of women globally. I am humbled and honored to have been selected by the members of the committee, and I received the prize in the name of women who continue to work for peace, equality, and justice across the world. I ask all of you to join me in a moment of silence as I name great women who fought for peace and justice. Professor Wangari Maathai, Ms. Deka Abdi, Ma Wuleti Freeman, Ma Asata Kandakai, Ma Fatou Ba, Ms. Rebecca Flomo, Ma Kluana Brown, the 7 Ivorian women who lost their lives during the post-election violence, and women across the world who lost their lives while fighting for peace, social justice, and equality. Amen. Early 2003, 7 of us gathered in a makeshift office and conference room to discuss the Liberian Civil War and the fast approaching war on the capital, Monrovia. Armed with nothing but our conviction and 10 United States dollars, the Women of Liberia Mass Action for Peace campaign was born. Women had become the toy of war for overdrug militias. Sexual abuse and exploitation spared no woman. We were raped and abused regardless of our age, religious or social status. A common scene was a mother watching her young son being forcibly recruited or her daughter being taken away as wife for another drug-emboldened child soldier. We use our pains, our broken bodies, and scarce emotions to confront the injustices of terrors of our nation. We were aware that the end of the war will only come through nonviolence, as we had seen that the use of violence was taking us and our beloved country, Liberia, deeper into the abyss of pains, death, and destruction. The situation in Liberia in those war years was indeed reaffirmed by the statement of Nobel laureate, the late Dr. Martin Luther King, when he said, and I quote, "Violence never brings permanent peace. It solves no problem. It merely creates new and complicated ones," unquote. The Women's Mass Action campaign started in one community and spread over 50 communities across Liberia. We worked daily confronting the warlords, meeting with dictators, and refusing to be silenced in the face of AK-47 and RPGs. We walked when we had no transportation. We fasted when water was unaffordable. We held hands in the face of danger. We spoke truth to power when no one else or everyone else were being very diplomatic. We stood under the sun. We stood under the sun and the rain with our children to tell the world the other side of the Liberian Civil War. Our educational backgrounds, travel experiences, faith, social class did not matter. We had one common agenda: peace for Liberia now. We succeeded when no one thought we would. We were the conscience of the ones who had lost their consciences in their quest for power and political positions. We represented the soul of the nation. No one would have prepared my sisters and I for today, that our struggles would go down in the history of this world. Rather, when confronting warlords, we did so because we felt it was our moral duty to stand as mothers, gird our waists to fight the demons of war in order to protect the lives of our children, their land, and their future. There are many examples globally of such struggles by women. I believe that the prize this year not only recognizes our struggle in Liberia and Yemen, it is in recognition and honor of the struggle of grassroots women in Egypt, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Côte d'Ivoire, Tunisia, Palestine, and Israel, and in every troubled corner of the world. So allow me to pay tribute to the giants in women's continuous struggle for freedom and equality. This prize is a tribute to the women of Zimbabwe Arise, WOZA, for their courage in the face of arrest and torture, for remaining the voice and face of the suffering people of Zimbabwe. This prize is a tribute to the women of Congo who have endured some of the worst acts of man's inhumanity to women. The world is well aware that you still endure the horrific sexual violence that is the nature of the endless and senseless war in the DRC. This prize is a tribute to the women of the Acholi land in Uganda who, in the face of the so-called Lord's Resistance Army, continued torture and rape, remains advocate for peace and justice. This prize is a tribute to the women of Afghanistan and many other places on earth where in the 21st century, women can be raped and still set free. People are still set free. Sometimes we are subjected to honor killing. This prize is a tribute to your cry for justice, freedom, and equality. Your Royal Highness, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, women of the world, this prize could not have come at a better time than this, a time when globally and in our communities, the conversations are about local community members and unarmed civilians turning an upside-down world right side up. It has come at a time when unarmed citizens, men, women, boys, and girls are challenging dictatorship and ushering in democracy and the sovereignty of people. Yes, it has come at a time when in many societies, where women used to be the silent victims and objects of men's power, are now throwing down the walls of repressive tradition with the invincible power of nonviolence. Women are using their broken bodies from hunger, poverty, and desperation and destitution to stir down the barrel of gun. This prize has come at a time when ordinary mothers are no longer begging for peace, but demanding peace, justice, equality, and inclusion in political decision-making. I must be quick to add that this prize is not just in recognition of the triumph of women, it is a triumph of humanity. To recognize and honor women, the other half of humanity, is to achieve universal wholeness and balance. Like the women I met in Congo DRC over a year ago said, and I quote, "Rape and abuse is the result of larger problem, and that problem is the absence of women in decision-making space," unquote. If women were part of decision-making in most societies, there would be less exclusive policies and laws that are blind to the abuses of women. In conclusion, let me again congratulate the Nobel Committee for awarding the prize to us three women. By this act, you reaffirm that women's rights are truly human rights, and that any leader, nation, or political group that excludes women from all forms of national and local engagement is setting themselves up for failure. Let this recognition serve as a renewed compact between women and world leaders, that commitments made to women through various UN and other global institutions' resolutions will be pursued with greater commitment and vigilance. Let this be a renewed compact that the integrity of a woman's body and the sanctity of women's lives will not be subsumed under male-invented traditions. To the women of Liberia and sisterhood across West Africa, who continue to band together to respond to crises in our sub-region, to women in Asia, the Middle East, and the world. As we celebrate our achievement through this recognition, let us remind ourselves that victory is still afar. We must continue to unite in sisterhood to turn our tears into triumph, our despair into determination, and our fears into fortitude. There is no time to rest until our world achieves wholeness and balance, where men and women are considered equal and free. And finally, Liberian women, thank you for making our country proud. Thank you for sitting in the rain and in the sun. This is your prize. This is our prize. The world used to remember Liberia for child soldiers, but they now remember our country for the white T-shirt women. Who would have ever thought that the Liberian women would have been among the faces of women's global victory? But you did it. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Leymah Gbowee. I'm the 2011 Nobel Peace Prize winner from Liberia. I would like to extend my thanks to the Global Justice Journal for inviting me to this forum on peace in Cameroon. As an African, 3 years ago, I became troubled about what was obtaining in the Anglophone side of Cameroon. I decided to make a journey for peace. That journey took me to Cameroon, where I had the opportunity to sit with many stakeholders, including internally displaced persons, people within the UN, ambassadors, the Prime Minister, just to listen and learn and do an advocacy about the need for peace in Cameroon. During that tour, I met many people, and it gave me a serious flashback, like I was in Liberia again and experiencing the war all over. The political maneuvering, the long-standing colonial powers having their own conversation, all in the midst of death, destructions, rape, abuse, and most importantly, a lack of future for the young people. I left Cameroon, did a report, sent it to many stakeholders. Today, in the midst of a pandemic, sadly, the conflict is still raging. Sadly, women are still being abused. They bear the greatest brunt of the conflict. Sadly, government and the parties involved have not gotten to a place where peace is a priority. Today, the world is upside down. Every nation, including nations of goodwill, are scrambling to secure the lives of the individual society and their citizens. Cameroonians, especially those from the Anglophone side, are left in limbo. The war is still raging. Death and destruction is still happening. In the midst of everything that I saw as I made my visit to Cameroon, the one light in the darkness was the advocacy by the women. Many women organizations calling for peace, working for peace, engaging with different individuals and institutions to ensure that peace is a reality. Today, I come to this forum not just to talk about the need for ending the war, which is the key to everything. Peace in the Anglophone side of Cameroon. Peace in Cameroon. No one, absolutely no one can say they are at peace. There is not a single part of Cameroon that can say they are at peace as long as one part of that country is at war. So the need for peace cannot be overstated. The need for ceasefire is like immediate. The need for cessation of hostilities is immediate, and the need for the human rights violation to stop is immediate. What is also immediate is the recognition of the role that women are playing, the role that they play on a daily basis to draw attention to the pain and suffering of individuals in the different side of Cameroon. These women are out there. Many of them have come to know on a personal level, working for peace, working for justice. But then you also have the ones that no one knows. The women that people will never see getting on airplanes to go to Europe, to France, to different parts of the world in the interest of peace. Those women are on the ground. They are the ones holding society. They are the ones nurturing society. They are the ones trying and doing their best for peace in Cameroon. Those women are the ones that have come also today to encourage. Don't give up. Don't give up on peace in Cameroon. Don't give up, because it is important for you to continue to stay on the course, advocating not taking side, because the bullets cannot pick and choose. The bullet doesn't know an Anglophone from a Francophone. The bullet cannot tell whose son is a militant and whose daughter is a part of the military. Do not give up. Many years ago, my own country, Liberia, was at war. Year in and year out, 14 years of devastation, 14 years of observing our children die, 14 years of rape, abuse, and mutilation. The women stood up. We did not compromise peace. It wasn't about ethnicity. It wasn't about whose father was in government. It wasn't about who was the leader. It was about peace. And distinguished ladies and gentlemen, peace has no ethnicity. Peace has no side in the conflict. And peace has no political interest. And to you, my sisters, as you stand up to fight for peace, peace for Cameroon, let it be a peace that is without prejudice. But peace also will only come if you are bold enough to speak truth to power, to say to both government and to the militias that now is the time for you to stop the killings of our people. Now is the time for our children to return back to school. Peace can only come when you face the issue head on and speak truth to power. In 2003, by the grace of God, we were able to stand in front of President Taylor and say to him, enough is enough. We do not and cannot any longer stand the killing and the recruitment of our young children. Several months later, we got peace, but it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all. Peace only came when we recognized that no one else can do it for us. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Cameroonians, my fellow Africans, peace can come, and I know peace will come, but it will come when there is an understanding that you all and all of us need to join hands and work for it. Peace is possible. Peace is necessary. Peace will come. But you and only you have to take the lead. All of us who are interested in Cameroon, all we can do is to journey with you, walk side by side with you, offer you support as you take the lead. It is my hope and prayer that the women will keep raising their voices for peace. It is my hope and prayer that the young men will refuse to be recruited for any reason. It is my hope and prayer that the government will see reason to cease hostilities. It is my hope and prayer that the international community will step in and work with the Cameroonian people and make peace a reality. Thank you. God bless us all. In 2011, I won the Nobel Peace Prize. And that was done because myself and some women got together and decided that it was time to put an end to the Civil War. And for me, what was next was the gap that I saw in the work that I did with the women. And that gap was young girls. So I decided I want to start a foundation that will focus on education leadership development for young girls and the youth of Africa. So for people who say, oh, I don't know that space, you never know what your investment will do for the world. You can never miss it with our collective humanity. Whether you're white or black or blue or green, regardless of who you are, your orientation, your sexual identity, don't ever think twice, because that girl could just be the answer to the world's problem.